Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind, and today it's all about the mistakes we make. Guys, mistakes were made. I want to be honest, I'm not perfect. I know my wife believes I am, but 100% I'm not. Messing with these old motorcycles, we make mistakes. I don't know about you guys, but we make mistakes, and there's some common ones that tend to happen. And I'm not talking about the easy ones like you get a mile down the road and realize you forgot to turn on the petcock. But then you don't turn on the petcock and then you start trying to troubleshoot it. Or when you're working on your motorcycle, let's say you got an old bike, you just got it running, and you all of a sudden you lose all ignition. Like, what the hell's going on? Then you realize you forgot to turn the run switch back on. It happens, right? We make these mistakes. When you're coming and when you're messing with these old bikes, it's what happens. I'm going to share with you guys today 3 mistakes that I made. That kind of a big deal, I think. But I think you learn from those mistakes. If you don't learn from them, you'll continue to repeat them. And I'll share with you the first one. We were still living in Connecticut. We were on mopeds, these 2 mopeds. The orange one with the saddlebags is a Motovacane 50V Mobilite. And then mine was a Gorelli Super Sport. So we were going to take these 2 mopeds on a road trip. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We lived in a little town on the Connecticut shoreline called Old Saybrook, Connecticut. And we were going to ride all the way as far south as you can go in Connecticut towards New York, because there are 22 lighthouses that dot the Connecticut shoreline. And we're on pedal start mopeds that go 30, 35 miles an hour. And we're riding the shoreline road, so we were going to ride there, stop, take photographs of the lighthouses all along the coast. From there, all the way to as far east as we'd have to go, then we'd come back. So the first night was overnighting in Fairfield. Second night, we were overnighting in Mystic. And then the last day, we were making our way back home. My Gorelli Super Sport, it was modified. It was bored out from a 50 to an 80. It was ported. We had a bigger carb, and it always ran a little funky because of that. It would run good, but then you'd have to tweak it. Things would work. This one particular day, the Sunday coming back, it started running crappy, and then it just stopped running completely. So we pull into, thankfully we were right at a gas station. We pull into a gas station, and I'm going through it, trying to figure out everything, trying to figure it out. And again, this is day 3 of a 3-day trip, and then just threw in the towel. Said that's enough, we're going to call AAA. So I called AAA to have the mopeds towed home. You know, we put them on the back of the flatbed, we rode home with them. And it was only maybe 30 miles. To get home, to realize I was out of gas.
Idiot.
Now let that sink in. I called AAA from a gas station to come pick me up, to find out when I got home that I was out of gas. Guys, things happen, right? Sometimes we don't look at the simplest things. That's why I'm sharing these, is because sometimes we don't go to the very, very simplest things. We always go to further down the road, right? Because I was having carb issues before we left on the trip, although it had leveled out and it was fine, it had just didn't dawn on me to, hey, let's check to see if we have gas. So the second one I'm going to share with you guys is one, if you saw our latest video, it's with the CB550. We had some wiring harness issues, and I ordered a new wiring harness because we had a sub harness in the back that was all funky. Had a switch, we could never figure out what it did. And so just to clean it up, I had ordered a harness. Well, I didn't need to change it. It was on the shelf or somewhere. And then one day I rode the motorcycle, the CB550, I parked it in the driveway, and then later on that night I was going to pull it in, and it wouldn't start. It was dead. So I was like, crap, the harness finally crapped out. So come inside to change the harness, couldn't find it. I had apparently thrown it away. On accident, thankfully, but I threw it away. So I ordered another harness. Wait the 3-4 days to get it to come in to change the harness. And so that's taking all the stuff off, unplugging all the plugs on the inside of the headlight bucket to then plug all those back in to find out I had a blown fuse.
Idiot.
Again, much like the AAA Gorelli incident, sometimes it's just checking the simple things, right? I didn't even go through and troubleshoot why I didn't have power. I just automatically went to, okay, let me go ahead and change the harness. And because I thought I already had one, because I had ordered one, sometimes we don't go back to the easy things, right? We go further down the road from where we were before as opposed to going back to the beginning. And this is with troubleshooting. This is with everything that we do. They're mistakes, but we kind of have to work our way through it so we can see it. And sometimes it is the simple things. Figure out go back to the beginning. A, B, C is going to get you D every time, but I just can't jump. I can't leave out a couple of steps. Even as simple as what it might be. Even though you know it has spark, well, why don't we just go back and check, see if it has spark anyway, just to make sure. So that was the second one. So the last mistake, this one doesn't really count as a mistake. It's more of a bad decision or not a logical decision. Maybe in hindsight, a great decision. And that was when I chose to ride a 1983 Kawasaki GPZ1100 that had been, before I got it, had been left outside for about 10 years without spark plugs in it. And I got this motorcycle in April of this year, earlier this year, and decided I was going to ride it to Colorado in June. In retrospect, it was the best decision I ever made. From the outside looking in, horrible decision. And I'll share with you why. First off, the furthest I'd ever ridden a motorcycle in one day was 250 miles, and that was on a 1964 Honda Dream, and it took me all day. I left first thing in the morning, I rode around, but I ended up back at home. It was a loop I went on. And I had never ridden that, never ridden cross country before. I didn't, to be honest, until 2 days before I left for this trip, I had never ridden this motorcycle before. So it was a horrible idea. I mean, a horrible idea to just leave on that Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning to just ride away. And to just say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And that was the best decision. All rational thought says you don't do that. You don't ride an abandoned motorcycle. A motorcycle had been left for dead, hadn't been ridden in years, and you don't ride it the first time 2 days before you leave. And then I'd only put maybe 50 miles on the motorcycle and then left and then rode 400 miles the first day. That's not the best decision, although great things happen from that. And going back to troubleshooting, when we broke down with that motorcycle, so we ended up riding nearly 3,000 miles on an abandoned motorcycle. That when it broke down 83 miles away from home, earlier when we broke down, when we broke down after, on the second day, we were having DFI problems, right? The fuel injection problems with throttle position sensor that we had to go ahead and clean and adjust. So my mind went to fuel injection. Didn't think of anything else. Plus, it had been 10 days. It was hot. 83 miles away from home. Find me the flag so I can wave it. So, wasn't thinking right. To where when I came home to find out one of my coils had vibrated loose, and that's what shut me down. It was a spark issue that I was thinking was a fuel issue. Right? That's the common thing, right? Fuel is going to look like ignition. Ignition is going to look like fuel. They can be either one. And that's what threw me off. And I didn't even think to let's check for spark. I was on the side of the road. How simple. I had all the tools. It would have been super simple to be able to do that. If I would have checked for spark, I wouldn't have been down the DFI rabbit hole and it would have been fine. I may have been able to make it. Who knows? But that's where I wanted to take the time to share this. Mistakes were made. Mistakes are going to be made. Things are going to happen. You're going to do the right thing. You're going to do the wrong thing. It's how do you overcome them? How do you move forward with it? That's the most important thing. Sometimes it is just going back to the basics and checking through and to be able to do it. So I'd love to hear, what are some of the wild and crazy things that you did on accident, right? Or mistake, if you want to call it, mistakes that were made. Guys, let me know in the comments down below. Guys, as always, I want to thank you for watching yet another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. And do me a favor, like, tag, share, and follow us on Instagram at Motorcycle Rewind. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And guys, while you're in the subscribing mood, just wander on over to our friends, Brickhouse Builds, Gold Guy, Moto Mango, Ace Cafe Bikes, Mile Zero Racers, Plan B Motos, Pete's Classic Cycle, and Lady Moto Bang, and give those guys a subscribe too. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day. Guys, you know what's not a mistake? Buying these cool stickers from Motorcycle Rewind. Support us. Hit these stickers up, link in the description below. Free shipping on the sticker packs worldwide.